castle is definitely connected to the island, and I'll show you the astronomical reason why I think it is. This is the line from Oak Island to New Ross. That is 332 degrees to the northwest. Okay. And in the sky, you have Cephas, the king. Okay. Now, Schiller, an astronomer back in the 1600s, he called this Solomon's Temple. And as you can see, it looks just like a house. Okay. Got the roof and everything there, and it looks just like a house. And that's actually the line to New Ross Castle in that direction. Now, if you go earlier in time, this is like from the 1600s. This is from the 1600s. If you go back in time to around the time of the Templars, say 1300 or before, that line actually goes towards the middle of Cephas. So 332 degrees would actually cut right through the middle of that constellation. Now, I have it going through the cornerstone of that building. Obviously, Solomon's Temple has has a lot of Masonic references to the Solomon's Temple through and the cornerstone. But that astronomer from Poland I told you about, Johannes Hevelis, placed a very unassuming lizard down below there. He was a Mason. He was in a Masonic group in Poland, probably Rosicrucian too. But you can see how he used that lizard to point to that cornerstone of the building. Okay. Now, I don't know how many lizards, kind of lizards, live in Poland, but I don't think it's that many. But I think that he placed that lizard there and he used those stars to use as a pointer towards the cornerstone of Solomon's Temple. Now, the point that I want to make is that New Ross is a castle and it's in the same direction. So maybe that symbolism of Cephas and Lacerda tells you that there's something to do with the cornerstone of New Ross Castle. Maybe that's some kind of importance. I know there has been work there, but there's a lot of red tape and everything. Alessandra, I know very well. She's great. She's helped me out talking about New Ross. I know she was on the show. So she is very great about telling me all about New Ross and its history. So, yeah. So I think that Cephas the King as Solomon's Temple is New Ross Castle. I can talk about Blandford real quick. Sure. Blandford is an area east of the island. It is shaped like a bowl. I call it the Blandford Bowl. It's a peninsula more out towards the ocean side of the bay. But you can see a road there on the top. It's white. But a lot of the roads that were created are actually old trails that have been there in ancient times. Animal trails and that. So maybe that was there already and they turned it into a road. But it seems to form the back of Taurus over here. It's very similar to Taurus. I mean, obviously, it'd be very strange if they could terraform something like that. It's just a coincidence. I don't know. But there's a lot more to it. And if that was the only reason, I would probably balk at it also. But that's not the only part of this that makes it significant. Now, here's the island at the bottom, looking at Blandford, the bull. The bull is charging towards the island. And this actually goes with the myth of Taurus. The myth of Taurus is that Zeus turned himself into a bull and kidnapped a princess from Tyre called Europa. So, you think of Europe and Europa, but in the myth, Taurus, as Zeus as Taurus, the bull, kidnaps her and carries her across the sea. Okay, that is coming east to the west, so that bull would be charging towards the island to the west, just like the myth. So if you think that is, strange, let's look at the next slide. Taurus in the sky matches Blandford perfectly. That is looking east from the island at 102 degrees towards Blandford. That is Taurus charging towards the island at us in the sky. Again, as above, so below. Blandford and Taurus are mirrors, one above and one below, looking at us. Now, if that's not strange enough, on the neck of the Blandford bull is this. It's a semicircle. It's a structure of some kind. I have asked Danny Henniger, who was actually in Joe's forum, who was a great mentor also, local from Chester. I asked him about that, and I thought maybe it'd be some kind of structure used in the past for whaling or whatever, and he did not know. It is private land. It's not crown land, so you can't just go out there. But do the next slide. As you look closer, it seems to be on the neck of the bull, which is important because that's where the sun passes through that constellation. And if you believe in astrology, Taurus is supposed to be control the neck region of the body. But this structure is definitely on the neck of Blandford the bull. But also that bottom line lines up with the rising sun on the winter solstice. Now, the rising sun of the winter solstice is supposed to be the birth of the sun god. And I believe that this is associated with possibly a Roman connection because Roman soldiers worship this Mithra, or Soli Victus, they called him. Mithra is associated with the bull. A slaying of the bull. So he is symbolized by him slaying a bull at that time period. Roman soldiers were believed in Mithra. He is actually the last sun god, along with Apollo, before Christ. Mithra was in Rome, and it ended about 300 AD as Constantine switched to Christianity. Before that, it was Apollo and Mithra. So, but the Roman soldiers are the ones that carried Mithra Mithraism. So they would meet in these places underground. And I thought that dark area right in the middle there could be one of those Mithriums, which they called it, underground in a meeting space. So I just find it interesting that Mithra is associated with the rising sun on the winter solstice, and it's in a bull area in Blandford that looks just like Taurus. Strange. I know how all these things end up, but I'm almost done with this slide presentation, looks like. Yeah, go ahead and go to Meisner's. Meisner's Island is actually right off Chester. It's this funny hook lip island, okay? I can't tell you how I found this because it's associated with my special spot on the mainland. But yeah, take the next slide. This little structure, stones, looks very much like Oak Island to me. This is on the southwestern shoreline on that island. I don't know. It looks strange to me. It looks like there's some kind of cavity on the top of that larger piece. That would be the western side of the island. And then you see even Isaac's Point. It goes out to a little nose-like structure on it. Maybe this is an effect of like the face on Mars or something, but it's something there. Go to the next one, Jake. Here's a little bit more closer up. Now, it's not only shaped like Oak Island, but it's also oriented exactly like Oak Island. You know, Isaac's Point is to the east. The larger part of the island is to the west. It's like oriented exactly like it, in relationship to the islands. So just an interesting spot that needs to be investigated. I guess that's it.